Well, the Academy Awards are this Sunday, and I think it's high time we celebrate some Oscars caliber film on this channel. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jake, the Scary Story Guy, and today we are talking about kind of an art house, indie, more subdued film. You really got to watch it a few times, I think, before you can fully grasp the layered meanings and the many complex symbolisms at play here. The film in question is called Cocaine Bear, and it is about a bear who does cocaine. It might be the most accurate title a movie's ever had. I mean, Cocaine Bear, it really does just sum it up perfectly. A lot of people probably saw the trailer and thought to themselves, well, that's an interesting premise, but it's probably not going to be any good. And you know, film expert that I am, I've come up with a bit of a litmus test for you, free of charge. If the idea of a bear eating a duffel bag full of cocaine and then killing a bunch of people does not sound enjoyable to you, I would probably skip the film Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear was directed by Elizabeth Banks, yes, that Elizabeth Banks, and it stars Keri Russell, Ice Cube's kid, and character actress Margot Martindale. Shouts to all you BoJack Horseman people in the audience. And it also stars the late and great Ray Liotta, who did just barely pass away. And if you can believe this, Ray Liotta's character is involved in the drug trade in this movie, which, you know, normally he's playing an upstanding family man, so it's good that he at least once got to play a character with questionable morals. Okay, so let's talk about the plot of Cocaine Bear, because it's actually maybe a little more convoluted than you might be expecting. So the setup is some drug runner is flying his plane over the mountains of Georgia and has a bit of a mishap with his jump, his parachute, which results in just copious amounts of cocaine being strewn all across this mountain. And this is actually loosely based, and I do mean loosely, on a true story. Apparently back in the 80s, this event actually happened, and they couldn't find any of the cocaine, but a few months later they found a black bear that was dead and it had a bunch of cocaine in its system. So they figured that the bear stumbled across it and ate so much that it just keeled over, which is incredibly interesting, but not so much as a plot for a movie. This version is much cooler. Basically, the drugs turn this bear into, you know, 2 parts coked out rage machine and then 1 part, like, enormous dork. It's kind of cute, actually, because he'll, like, swing back and forth between, you know, ripping someone's leg off and then humping a tree and falling asleep. Now, unfortunately, a surprising amount of this movie doesn't actually involve the bear. We've got a supporting cast here that I'm gonna say is too big, and we spend an awful lot of time at the beginning and even in the middle of this movie kind of examining, exploring how all these different people from different walks of life end up on this same mountain at the same time with this cocaine bear. We've got a hiker, his fiance, a mom and her troubled daughter, the daughter's friend, a park ranger, another park ranger that the first park ranger has a crush on, a detective, the detective's dog, a cop, a drug lord, the drug lord's son, the drug lord's helper, a group of 3 punk teenagers, a paramedic, and an ambulance driver. So this movie's only 90 minutes long. Perhaps unsurprisingly, this movie really only works when the bear is on screen high on cocaine. And that's what we all came to see, right? So in my estimation, there's just way too much time devoted to these side, like a story about a detective and his new dog. Like, imagine if you'd gone to see Sharknado, and before you get to the shark tornado, there's just like 30 minutes of a college girl not wearing a bikini, with all her limbs intact, and she's just stressed out for a while about, like, an essay she's got to write. You're like, what did I pay for? I haven't actually seen Sharknado, so I guess I'm going out on a limb assuming that doesn't happen in the film. But the reason I feel safe in assuming that is that anyone who makes a movie about a shark tornado is got to be self-aware enough to know that the audience is going to expect to see an awful lot of the shark tornado. So too, one would think about a film depicting a bear on cocaine. But honestly, I think my main problem with all these side plots going on is not even so much that they're there as it is that they don't really pay off. Like, mild spoiler alert, at the beginning of the film, 2 children eat quite large amounts of cocaine. And we're led to believe that this is going to be relevant to the plot moving forward, and it's just not. So I guess I'm just asking, like, why include it at all? These scriptwriters, I think, need to study their Chekhov. A lot of guns not going off around here. But of course, if we're talking about literal of guns, a lot of those actually do go off. This is quite a violent film. Could have been a lot worse, of course, because most of the kills here are really played for laughs. Some have classified Cocaine Bear as like light horror, or comedy horror, or creature horror, but it's so light on the horror that I actually feel a little weird talking about it on this channel. But also, it's March, so what the hell else am I going to talk about? I do find it kind of funny that we got 2 movies in the same month about bears just completely losing their shit, especially when you consider that the other bear is literally Winnie the Pooh. You should check out my review for that one if you haven't already. But yeah, I think we learned an important lesson this month. Bears are not cute. Bears will fuck you up. Do not bother the bears. And obviously this movie's not scary. It's not meant to be scary. But I do go hiking by myself a lot, so I've naturally got a fairly healthy fear of running into a bear when I'm 5 miles up a mountain by myself. And survivalists will tell you, if it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. But the problem with that, and they bring this up in the movie, is that those two colors are very similar to each other. And I don't know about you, I'm not necessarily confident in my ability to tell the difference between brown fur and black fur on a bear that's 50 yards away from me. So yeah, bears. Whether they're redneck serial killers in bear costumes, bears high on narcotics, or just the regular kind of bears, give them a wide berth. And you know, it probably goes without saying, but if the premise of this movie appeals to you, there's a lot to recommend here. There's one scene in particular involving an ambulance that, I mean, it really is just cinematic alchemy. You're taking shit and turning it into pure gold. The movie is worth the price of admission for that scene alone. But honestly, I would say that I generally had a good time here. A 90-minute movie has no business feeling this long. I think we needed some payoffs on things that we didn't end up getting, but you know, at the end of the day, it's not like we're splitting the atom here. We were promised a movie about the cocaine bear, and we got a movie about the cocaine bear. And I'm gonna give that movie 3 stars out of 5. Okay, stay tuned as always for more Scary Story content coming soon. Next week, I'm gonna review the newest installment in a popular horror franchise. I wonder which one that could be. Guess you'll have to subscribe to find out, but in the meantime, thank you for watching this video, and here's hoping you survive to see the next one.